The wind cuts through the Roman camp like a blade. Beyond the tent walls, men cough not from cold but from plague. Horses scream. Fires struggle to stay alive in the frozen German wilderness. Inside a leather tent, an old man sits alone at a wooden desk. His face is weathered. His hands shake from cold. He wears no crown, no purple robes, just the simple tunic of a soldier. He is writing. Not orders, not speeches, personal notes, reminders to himself. You have power over your mind, not outside events. This is Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, master of the known world, commander of the greatest military force ever assembled. He is the most powerful man on earth, and he would rather be anywhere else. Because here is the truth history often forgets. Marcus Aurelius never wanted to be emperor. He didn't seek power. He didn't crave conquest. He didn't dream of glory. He wanted a quiet life. Books, philosophy, teaching, and peace. Instead, fate handed him an empire on fire. This is not the story of a man who loved ruling. This is the tragedy of a man who endured it. Born in 121 AD, Marcus Aurelius Antoninus entered a world of unimaginable privilege. His father died when he was 3. The Emperor Hadrian noticed the boy, brilliant, serious beyond his years, and arranged for him to be adopted by the next emperor, Antoninus Pius. At 17, Marcus was already consumed by philosophy, not as a hobby, as a way of life. While other young Roman nobles chased women and wine, Marcus studied Epictetus, Zeno, and Heraclitus. He wrote later, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." His teachers prepared him for a life of contemplation. The throne prepared him for something else entirely. In 138 AD, something unexpected happened. Emperor Hadrian forced Antoninus Pius to adopt not just Marcus, but also another boy named Lucius Verus. The reason? Historians still debate this. Some say Hadrian wanted to ensure stability through shared rule. Others whisper darker reasons. Political maneuvering, family pressure, compromises made in shadow. For Marcus, this changed everything. He was no longer being prepared to rule alone. He would share power with a man he barely knew. A man who, as we will see, was his complete opposite. In 161 AD, Antoninus Pius died peacefully after 23 years of rule, one of the most stable reigns in Roman history. Marcus Aurelius, now 40, became emperor. He did not celebrate. According to Roman historian Cassius Dio, Marcus wept. He immediately declared Lucius Verus co-emperor, not because he wanted to, because he believed in stoic duty. The Senate was stunned. Never before had Rome been ruled by 2 equal emperors. Before we continue, if you're fascinated by the hidden truths behind history's greatest figures, this channel uncovers the stories they don't teach in schools. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We're just getting started with Marcus Aurelius, and trust me, the darkest parts are still ahead. Here is what happened next. While Marcus Aurelius sat in dark rooms managing grain supplies, diplomacy, and legal reforms, Lucius Verus threw parties. While Marcus prepared for war against the Parthian Empire, Lucius toured Greece, attended theatrical performances, and kept multiple mistresses. Marcus wrote in his private journal, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." He wasn't talking about enemies. He was talking about his own co-emperor, his supposed brother. In 162 AD, Rome's eastern territories erupted. The Parthian Empire invaded Syria. Roman legions were slaughtered. Cities fell. Marcus needed to respond with overwhelming force. So he sent Lucius, not because Lucius was qualified, but because one emperor had to stay in Rome to manage everything else. Lucius went to the east. He brought actors, musicians, and his mistress. His generals did the actual fighting. They won. Brilliantly. In 166 AD, Lucius returned to Rome for a triumph, a massive parade celebrating military victory. He rode through Rome in a golden chariot, showered with flowers and praise. Marcus Aurelius, who had managed Rome during the entire campaign, stood in the background. He showed no anger, no resentment. Stoicism demanded he accept what he could not control. But the journals from this period grow darker. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. He was teaching himself to endure. In 166 AD, Lucius Verus returned from the east with more than treasure. He brought death. The soldiers carried a disease, possibly smallpox or measles. It spread like wildfire, first in Rome, then across Italy, then throughout the empire. Bodies piled in the streets. Entire villages were wiped out. The army lost a quarter of its soldiers. Some historians estimate 350,000 dead in total. Modern scholars believe 5 to 10 million people died, nearly 10% of the empire's population. This was Rome's Black Death, its apocalypse, and Marcus Aurelius stood at the center of it, powerless. As emperor, Marcus could not flee to the countryside like the wealthy did. He could not lock himself away. He had to stay visible, calm and in control. He performed religious ceremonies to appease the gods. He ordered public prayers. He opened the treasury to provide medical care. Nothing worked. And then it got worse. In 169 AD, Lucius Verus, his co-emperor, his brother, collapsed suddenly. He died within days. Some ancient sources claim it was the plague. Others whisper of stroke. A few suggest poison. Marcus never investigated. He was now sole emperor. Finally, he had undivided power. And it felt like a curse. During these years, while plague ravaged Rome, Marcus began writing what would later be known as the Meditations. Not for publication. Not for other philosophers. For himself. He wrote in Greek, not Latin. Private thoughts in his private language. Book 2 opens with these words. When you wake in the morning, tell yourself, I will encounter busybodies, ingrates, egomaniacs, liars, the jealous and cranks. This is not lofty philosophy. This is a man drowning, teaching himself to breathe. Accept what you cannot control. Focus only on your own actions. External things are beyond your reach. They cannot harm you unless you allow them to. He was writing survival instructions. Because around him, everything was dying. Marcus had 13 children with his wife, Faustina. 9 of them died before adulthood, several during the plague years. The Stoic philosophy Marcus practiced demanded he accept this. Loss is nothing except what your mind believes it to be. Try saying that to a father who has buried 9 children. Yet he continued. Every morning he woke, performed his duties, attended Senate meetings, made decisions that affected millions. At night, he returned to his writings. Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours. Translation: find gratitude in the nightmare, or you will not survive. Here's a question for you. Could you endure what Marcus endured? 9 dead children, a plague killing millions, and still showing up every day to lead an empire? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. We're building a community of people who think deeply about history, philosophy, and what it means to endure. The story gets heavier from here. In 168 AD, as plague still ravaged Rome, new reports arrived from the north. Germanic tribes were massing along the Danube frontier. The Marcomanni, the Quadi, and the Iazyges. They saw Rome weakened by disease. They saw opportunity. In 170 AD, they invaded. Not just raiding. Full-scale invasion. They crossed the Danube, breached Roman defenses, and pushed into Italy itself. For the first time in nearly 300 years, hostile armies reached Italy. Marcus Aurelius, philosopher, intellectual, grief-stricken father, had to become something he never wanted to be: a general. In 170 AD, Marcus marched north. He was 49 years old, weakened by illness, grieving and exhausted. But duty left no room for excuses. The war that followed would consume the rest of his life. 15 years of constant campaigning. Not glorious battles with clear victories. Brutal, grinding warfare in frozen wastelands. Ambushes in forests. Disease killing more men than combat. Supply lines collapsing. Tribal guerrilla tactics that frustrated Roman military doctrine. This wasn't the clean, decisive warfare Rome was built on. This was survival. While his generals planned battles, Marcus wrote, at night, by candlelight and in the cold. Book 10 of Meditations was written in these camps. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Outside, men screaming, swords clashing, and death. Inside, a man reminding himself that peace only exists within. He could have delegated, sent generals while he stayed in Rome. He chose to stay on the frontier. The reason? Because retreat meant collapse. If the emperor fled, so would everyone else. Stoicism demanded endurance. Power demanded presence. During these years, something else haunted Marcus. Rumors about his wife, Faustina. Affairs, infidelity, and relationships with gladiators, actors, even senators. Roman historians like Cassius Dio recorded these stories eagerly. Were they true? Marcus never publicly defended her. Never denied the rumors. Never lashed out. When Faustina died in 175 AD during a military campaign, Marcus deified her, made her a goddess. He named a city after her, Faustinopolis. He honored her publicly while the empire whispered behind his back. The reason? Two possibilities. 1. The rumors were lies, political smears meant to undermine him, and Marcus refused to dignify slander with response. 2. They were true, and Marcus practiced what he preached, accepting what he could not control. Either way, the result was the same: silence, duty, and endurance. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. He did not lash out. He did not divorce her. Not only that, but he did not seek vengeance. He simply continued. By 175 AD, Marcus had one surviving son, Commodus. Every instinct must have told Marcus the truth. His son was nothing like him. Commodus was vain, violent, obsessed with gladiatorial combat. He cared nothing for philosophy or duty. Yet, in 177 AD, Marcus named him co-emperor. Why would the wise philosopher king hand power to someone so unworthy? Because he had no choice. Roman succession was chaos without a clear heir. Civil wars, coups, and legions turning on each other. Marcus had lived through stable transitions. Hadrian to Antoninus to himself. He knew what instability looked like. He had seen empires collapse. So he chose order over wisdom. He chose his unworthy son over civil war. In his journals he wrote, "Everything is only for a day, both that which remembers and that which is remembered." He knew what would happen after his death, and still he chose duty. In 180 AD, the Marcomannic Wars still rage. Marcus Aurelius is 58 years old. He has spent over a decade on this frozen frontier. He is sick, exhausted, and fading. Ancient sources tell us he stopped eating, not because food was scarce, but because he chose to. Some historians believe he contracted plague. Others suggest he simply let go. After 19 years of uninterrupted crisis, perhaps the philosopher finally surrendered. His generals surround him. His son Commodus stands nearby. Marcus's final recorded words? "Why do you weep for me? Think rather of the pestilence and the deaths of so many others." Even dying, he deflected sympathy. In 180 AD, Marcus Aurelius died in his military tent near Vindobona, modern-day Vienna. He never returned to Rome. He died where he had spent most of his reign, on a frontier surrounded by war, far from the quiet life he had always wanted. Commodus became sole emperor. Within months, he abandoned the northern wars Marcus had fought for 15 years. He returned to Rome and declared himself the reincarnation of Hercules. He fought as a gladiator in the Colosseum, killing animals and even people for entertainment. The Senate hated him. The people feared him. In 192 AD, just 12 years after Marcus died, Commodus was assassinated. Everything Marcus endured, the plague, the wars, the betrayals, the grief, was undone in a decade. The peace he fought for? Gone. The stability he sacrificed for? Shattered. This is the final tragedy of Marcus Aurelius. He gave everything to preserve Rome, and his own son destroyed it. But here is what Marcus could never have known. His private writings, those desperate notes written in frozen tents, in plague-ravaged cities, in moments of unbearable grief, would survive. Today, Meditations is one of the most widely read philosophy books in history. It has been translated into dozens of languages. It sits on the nightstands of presidents, soldiers, prisoners, students, and CEOs. The reason? Because Marcus Aurelius did not write for emperors. He wrote for anyone trapped by circumstance, anyone enduring what feels unendurable. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius never conquered Germania, never built monuments to himself, never sought glory. But he conquered something harder, himself again and again, in silence. History remembers him not as a conqueror, but as the emperor who endured, the man who hated power, yet wielded it with grace. If this story moved you, you'll want to see what we cover next. We're exploring history's most fascinating figures, the ones who struggled, endured, and left wisdom we still need today. Subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified when the next one drops. And if you made it this far, you're exactly the kind of person who should leave a comment. What's your biggest takeaway from Marcus Aurelius? And here is one final thought from Marcus himself. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius Meditations.